Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am planning on recording a channel trailer so that I don't have to introduce myself or catch anyone up at the beginning of each video. Today I am going to continue discussing how I resisted being wrongfully publicly branded a racist by a group of Yale Deans after the February 24th incident. My attempts to resolve the issue with grad school diversity dean Michelle Nearen during the 2 weeks of spring break in mid-March 2018 had been entirely unsuccessful. She stated that she had no interest in addressing the attacks against me, nor in helping me save my livelihood and reputation, and she advised me to move out of my home in Yale's on-campus grad student housing if I had concerns for my personal safety. Please note that Dean Nearen is the grad school Title IX coordinator, and she is also on the Yale University Title IX steering committee. I was more than distraught and dismayed. I had the thought that maybe going directly to Yale's general counsel would be a good idea. I'm an attorney, and I hoped that another attorney would realize that these Yale Deans were exposing Yale to extraordinary legal liability. I decided to contact Counselor Caroline Hendel. I chose Counselor Hendel because she is also on Yale's Title IX steering committee. I let Counselor Hendel know that I had grave concerns that Dean Nearen was in gross violation of Title IX regulations as well as the ADA. I also let Caroline Hendel know that I had no desire to pursue civil litigation to protect my livelihood and reputation, but that I was fully prepared to do so. I was severely disappointed by Counselor Hendel's eventual response. She simply said that she had no interest in trying to help me and that I had no choice but to deal with Dean Nearen. Around this same time, I was contacted by Sergeant Robbins Hoffman of the Yale Campus Police Department. She was letting me know about victims' resources with the Yale Police. I let her know via email that I was very concerned about my personal safety, particularly after the students would be returning to campus following spring break. I told Sergeant Robbins Hoffman that I felt as if Yale had put a sign on my back that read racist, and that they had sent out an announcement that anyone who wished to do so was free to attack me and stalk me, including in my own home, with impunity. I never received a response from Sergeant Robbins Hoffman. I imagined that she had been instructed by Counselor Hendel initially to contact me in an effort to mitigate Yale's legal liability, but I also imagined that she had then been instructed not to respond to my subsequent email regarding my personal safety on Yale's campus post-spring break. A very strange event then occurred a few days later. I received a call from Sergeant Robbins Hoffman, but when I answered the phone, she said, "Sorry, I dialed the wrong number," and hung up on me. I also recognized her voice from the voice message that she had left for me. At this point, I was terrified. Spring break was coming to an end, and I was terrified for what my attackers had planned for me when they returned to campus. I didn't know what the Yale Deans were planning for me either. I didn't know if they were planning on having me expelled. I knew that they were determined to publicly brand me a racist and destroy my life, livelihood, and reputation. I just knew that I had to do everything I possibly could to save my life. The first thing that I did was to get in contact with the Yale Housing Managers to see if I could rescind my agreement to live in on-campus housing the following academic year. I told them that I felt very unsafe and very unwelcome. I also told them that I was considering moving into a nearby hotel or motel for the duration of the academic year because I was concerned for my safety. The Yale administration and Yale Housing had made clear that they had no intention of protecting me from being attacked in my own home. The problem was that I was teaching that semester, so I couldn't simply leave New Haven altogether. But another problem was that I simply didn't have the money to pay for a hotel room for a couple of months. I was trapped. After having to send a number of emails, I finally got the Yale Housing Managers to release me from my contract for the subsequent academic year. I wanted so much to simply leave New Haven and the Yale campus immediately, but I couldn't. I also decided to reach out to Provost Stephanie Spangler, the Yale University-wide Title IX coordinator. I didn't know what else to do. I sent an email to Provost Spangler telling her everything that had happened. I arranged to meet with her, and I did so, as well as with Associate Provost Cynthia Smith. I told them everything that had occurred. I told them that I had very grave concerns that Dean Nearin, Counselor Hendel, and Sergeant Robbins Hoffman were all in gross violation of Title IX regulations as well as the ADA. I told Provost Spangler and Smith that they had all expressed callous disregard for my personal safety on Yale's campus. I let them know that absolutely no one had ever addressed the fact that I was the one being attacked in my own home and stalked on campus. I told them that I was aghast that the Yale administration was taking the position that a disabled middle-aged woman living alone in Yale's on-campus graduate student housing had no right to take reasonable precautions to ensure that she can enter her dorm room safely, including by calling the Yale campus police on their non-emergency helpline, if need be, without being publicly branded a racist by Yale Deans and without having her life, livelihood, and reputation threatened. I also let Provost Spangler and Smith know that I had no desire to seek recourse in the civil courts for defamation and to protect my rights and interests, but that I was fully prepared to do so if necessary. I did begin to make inquiries with local law firms at this time. I also made clear that I was ready to go to the press if I needed to. Between the end of spring break near the end of March 2018 and May 8, 2018, I dealt pretty much exclusively with Provost Spangler and Smith. Provost Spangler and Smith assured me repeatedly that the students who had been involved in the February 24th incident would stay away from me, my dorm room, and the 12th floor of the Hall of Graduate Studies because there was absolutely no reason for them to be there. Provost Spangler and Smith told me repeatedly, including after speaking with Yale Campus Police Chief Ronell Higgins, that it was always okay for me to call the Yale Campus Police for any reason, even if I was unsure that the circumstances constituted an actual safety threat or no. They told me that Chief Higgins had said that the Yale Campus Police always wants to be the one to make the determination whether there exists an actual safety hazard or no. He said that the Yale Campus Police always prefers to check on the matter, whatever it might be, to make sure that everything is okay. I had been told the exact same thing by Officer Grace Schinkel when I had filed my police report with the Yale Campus Police on March 9, 2018. I was assured repeatedly by Provost Spangler and Smith that it was always okay for me to call the Yale Campus Police Department for any reason, and that I had done absolutely nothing wrong by calling the Yale Campus Police Department on their non-emergency helpline on February 24th. Provost Spangler and Smith told me that the group of Yale Deans who had accused me of racism after the February 24th incident and who had tried to publicly brand me as a racist included Associate Dean Michelle Nearin, of course, as well as the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences Dean Lynn Cooley and the Vice President of Student Life Kimberly Goff-Cruz. One last point that I wish to make clear in this video is that Provost Spangler accidentally revealed to me that someone at Yale was feeding my personal information, including my name, to my attackers. Provost Spangler accidentally revealed to me that my attackers knew my name and that this information had been released to them by someone at Yale. Of course, I was shocked and terrified. I did not know the names of my attackers prior to May 8, 2018, and I had only seen the man who made a number of television appearances during our unfortunate encounter on February 24th. I would have been hard-pressed to recognize him again, though. I had never seen the woman before May 8, 2018. In my next video, I will give you an account of what occurred between the time I began dealing with Provost Spangler and Smith and May 8, 2018, including the different stages of egregious harassment and stalking that occurred. I will also tell you how I begged, literally begged, the Yale administration and the Yale campus police to protect me from these attacks, and how I begged them to please close the 12th floor common room, as it was only being used as an excuse to be on the 12th floor of the Hall of Graduate Studies and as a means to harass and attack me incessantly. Thank you so much for spending a few moments with me.